We'll start off with, just because somebody does drugs, do they get to go to heaven? That doesn't quite mean that they don't get to go to heaven. But what I want to say is, usually the people do drugs, they tend to have their own issues that tag along with the drugs that blocks them from making it there. Plenty of issues usually tag along with drugs. You're right about temptation being one of the many tests in life, but there are a handful of druggies that actually do try hard to prove themselves to God and do shit the right way. What I really want everybody to know is that if you're trying anything possible that is in your life to get there, you'll get there. But what you have to realize is that everything possible is different for each and every person. I had a handful of people come to me in the past saying they used to be sinners and they prayed and prayed and they got saved. You ever hear that? People come to you, usually preacher type people, or, trying to get you to convert into their religion. They say that sort of stuff. They'll tell you a time they used to be sinners and things. I remember this one guy. He is actually a preacher. He told me he was a sinner because he couldn't stop watching porn. Whatever. I think it was pretty funny. I didn't laugh at him at the time, but anyway, I thought it was funny. But it was kind of awkward. What I'm getting at is he's right. In his head, and many others, this is a sin. I don't watch porn, by the way, nor do I think it's a sin if I did. But if you think it's a sin, then guess what? It's a sin. Some things are sins for everybody, such as I brought up in my other video about the terrorist bullshit, killing others. Anybody who takes another life, unless it was a damn good reason, is not making it to heaven. Here's an example. My boy, he's in the FBI. He kills people at his job. Usually kills a couple people a year. But only because he signed up for it, this is sometimes a choice he has to make, him or them. And that means it's not a sin. Another example, someone's breaking into your house. You feel you had no choice but to shoot them, or they might have killed you, or hurt you or your family. So you had to shoot them. Sure, you're not aiming to kill them, but it's just a choice you gotta make. And that's not a sin. Here's another example about when somebody would kill somebody over something that is hard not to kill somebody over, but you shouldn't, because it'll take you off the list for heaven. Dude comes home early and finds some dude banging his girl. That's a case of probably should just beat his ass to get your vent out. You probably even shouldn't do that, but if you do anything, that's all I would do, because if you kill him, guess what? You're a sinner, and you can't retract killing somebody. You just need to leave her and let the whole situation be a sign that it was going to happen anyway. So my point is, there's certain things that are sins for everybody, and a lot of other sins are just choices that you got to make in your own mind, if it is a sin in your own mind or not. Because you're being put situations by God that are in your mind to reflect on the sins that you think are sins. You're being dealt these situations in your mind because God wants you to know if you're going to sin or you're just going to straighten your act up and try hard not to sin. So what I really want you to realize is that every single person has a different thought on what's a sin and what's not. And to top it off, what you think is a sin now may change your mind in the future. In other words, whatever you think's a sin now, you might not even think it's a sin next year. I've had things where I didn't think was sins, and now I do think are sins, and vice versa. Here's an example for me that not many would do or think the same way. God wants me to eat as good as I think's possible 100% of the time and not cheat at all. Not a big deal to some people, but it's a big deal to me. So now I do that, even though it's very hard to do. It's just in my mind to do, and I think there's going to be an outcome to why. I'm guessing it was too clear in my mind, because it's cleared my mind so much. If you ever ate perfect, you'd understand. Some of y'all have probably, or do. So I have no idea if that's the reason behind all this seeing God thing or not. Not 100% on that, because obviously I can't ask questions like that. Here's another, some think is a sin for them. I never been married and have 2 kids. So you see what I mean? I don't think that's a sin, obviously, because I did it. Maybe in the future I'll think it's a sin and get married to somebody. Maybe somebody will talk me into thinking it's a sin, and then guess what? I'm going to get married before I have a kid. But it's something I did now, and I don't think it's a sin now. Everybody's different, and murderers don't go, nor do they expect to go to heaven.